My God, it's freezing out here. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm worried that my hands are probably going to end up turning into icicles trying to record this video. And I already look like I'm ready to be a Christmas decoration, aren't I? But of course you didn't come here to find out about my icicles, or whether or not I'm about to become Frosty the fucking Snowman. No, I wanted to talk a bit more about Just Stop Oil. Ah yes, Just Stop Oil. They're like the gift that keeps on giving, though instead of giving Christmas joy, they're giving everyone Christmas blues and misery. Or Christmas rage, one or the other. Anyway, these people have been continuing their activism for a considerable amount of time, including through this month of Christmas. Now, apparently they say they're doing this until the 14th of December, but I reckon, knowing some of these nut jobs, that'll be going on for much longer than that. But hey ho, who am I to say these things? I believe them just as much as I have hair on my head. Maybe I should go around with a waxing strip, get rid of all this shit. I'd prefer to be bald. But then again, I'd freeze my head off in this. Anyway, the people in Just Stop Oil have been repeatedly breaking the law with what they're doing, as we all well know. I mean, the criminal damage to buildings, the fact they're blocking the roads is in contravention of the Highway Code, or the Road Traffic Act, or whatever you want to call it. So, it's not like we don't know these people are committing criminal activities. But unfortunately for us, the British police are targeting the wrong people. Because it turns out, as of today when I'm recording this video, 8th of December, turns out one of the people who were quite rightly outraged at these cunts, he decided to throw an orange at them. And the police, instead of doing their fucking job and arresting the Just Stop Oil idiots that are blocking the roads illegally, they decided to turn on the man and threaten to arrest him for throwing an orange at him. Yet the person on their own who threw an egg at the king, arrested for common assault, and of course, more importantly, the Just Stop Oil activists, the police are actually walking alongside the cunts. And yes, I will be using a lot of strong language, because this subject pisses me off, it makes my blood boil, and it gives a great deal of anger towards the incompetency of the British police. The police who not only cannot do their job, but more accurately, do not want to. They are part of the problem now. There is footage out there, you can look it up. I'm sure MSN will show you, or other outlets will, of the police walking alongside these people. And I'm not talking walking alongside as in, oh, well, they're like 30, 40 meters away watching to keep the peace. No, I'm talking actually walking with the protesters, and in some cases in the middle of the road as well. Now, last time I checked, as I said, it is illegal to block the roads. It is illegal to block any public road. And on top of that, the police should not be political in any way, shape or form. They should not be siding with the left, they should not be siding with the right, and they should not be siding with anybody. They are merely there to keep the peace, and if it's breached, restore it as soon as possible. Well, what we have here is people committing criminal activities. Now, on top of this, the police do actually have powers to arrest these fuckers. They can actually go up to them, arrest them, hand them a 50 quid fine on the spot. They could also arrest these people and give them a year in prison. I personally think it should be 6, and I personally think the maximum fine should be about 100 grand. You know why? Because then these guys will stop. Oh, I guarantee, the moment you give them a fine that would be more suited to a company, the moment you give them a fine of 100 grand, oh, they'll stop. I promise you that. They will very quickly stop. Because after all, no man can live without a home. No man or woman can live without food and drink in their stomachs. No man or woman, well actually no, it's not entirely true, but no man or woman can survive in this kind of cold temperature we're at right now. It was actually at 0 degrees when I first got here in the office. But anyway, they won't be able to last very long in this kind of cold. And let me remind people of something. Oil is used for just about anything and everything, even to the clothes I'm wearing. In order to not use oil, in order to not use up any of this harmful stuff that they claim we're using, do you know what we would need to do? Take a look out here in the fields. Take a good look at it. We would have to be out there with no clothes on, eating grass. That's what we would have to do in order to not use oil. But of course the mainstream media won't tell us that, because after all, the media are there to race bait, incite hatred, and God knows what else. We all know they can't tell the truth, but in the end, this is about Just Stop Oil, not just the mainstream media. So I ask the police the question, when are you gonna man up, do your fucking job, and arrest these people? Because when I checked on some websites, it actually said at one point, one figure that was put out, 755 people were arrested and only 182 of them were charged. Not even a quarter. It's about 23%. Yet they're more than willing to threaten to arrest people for throwing oranges at them, honking their horns. Hell, they even told a fucking lorry driver off just because he was repeatedly hitting his horn because he was frustrated at the fact that these wankers were illegally blocking the road. What's that say about the police? I don't necessarily want the police defunded, like Black Lives Matter. Or maybe I got it right first time, in regards to Ngozi Fulani. You know, the racist woman who decided to bring a tape recording into a royal party and use it to get Lady Hussey cancelled and all that. But that's another story I'll put for another video. But my point is, the police shouldn't be fucking around with these people. They should be going in, they should be giving them one warning, get off the road or be arrested. And whether that's walking down the road or lying down in it, one warning, get off or be arrested. If they don't comply, throw them in the slammer, stick them with heavy fines, 10 grand, 100 grand, I don't care. Give them a few years in prison and they will very quickly stop. Because these people are not doing anybody any good. They are doing nobody any good, in fact. Not even themselves. And what I find funny is, I suspect the person who's responsible for all this is actually a hypocrite and probably believes in oil, much like how an animal extinction person decided to go and try and disrupt a private restaurant, got thrown out. Well, sorry, no, carried out would be more accurate. It was actually very polite, no force used. But people like them are going around pouring milk in places like Selfridges, or Just Stop Oil activists going around putting paint on a think tank group that's against their movement, or outside Harrods, outside Mayfair, outside a Rolex store. Yeah, God knows why, because that's totally going to stop oil, isn't it? Wankers. But the bottom line with all that is that even if these guys were not committing a crime in regards to blocking the roads, it doesn't change the fact that they are committing criminal damage. Hell, one person is now crying their little eyes out because they could face jail because they broke a fucking window for Barclays Bank. I accept they might be, for all I know, the biggest bank that uses fossil fuels and what have you, but it does not justify criminal damage. I have always said I am all for protest, but I am against it if it involves criminal activity. And they have committed multiple crimes against the British people. And as I said, the police are walking alongside these wankers. The police are protecting the terrorists. Because that's what they are. They are domestic terrorists. They may not be armed with AKs or suicide vests and what have you, but the bottom line is they're still terrorists because they're causing major disruption within the United Kingdom. And bear in mind, London is the heart of the country. So it would not be far-fetched to say that a lot of the country is being harmed by their actions. I find it funny how someone also said about, oh, I'm being drawn in by media propaganda. If people knew me, they know I'm not a shill for the media, and I would never fall for the media's bullshit. But here we have a situation where the police, who should be protecting us from the terrorists, or bringing in the SAS if they can't do it. Anyway, the people that should be dealing with these terrorists are instead protecting them and walking alongside them. This, as I said, is not only them taking a political side, it is also them complicit in criminal activity. And those who will support these people now or walk alongside them in the middle of the road should have a serious investigation put into them, and ideally they should be fired from their posts, because they have no right to be siding with terrorists. They have no right to be helping these people disrupt the country, or London, or Essex, or however big a fucking scale it is. It doesn't matter. They're still breaking their own conduct. They are not being politically neutral. And because they're not doing their job in regards to arresting these people, my message directly to London Police, Essex Police, and all the other places involved with dealing with these Just Stop Oil people is this. God, yeah, it's really bloody cold. I'm having to blow my hands now. Anyway, my message to the police is this. If you didn't want the British people to start intervening and tackling these Just Stop Oil protesters against your wishes to not directly intervene, if you didn't want people to start honking their horns at these wankers for blocking the road, if you did not want somebody throwing an orange at them because they are pissed off and fed up at your incompetence and inability or inactivity to do your fucking job, you should have arrested them. You should have done your job and got these bastards out of the road. But you haven't. You're sitting here walking alongside them. So, my message is this. Stand the fuck aside. You can't do your job, clearly. So we, the British public, are going to do it for you. And unlike you, we're going to be using an iron fist with this. We are not going to be using a silk glove. We are going to take these fuckers off the road. We will take out the trash, and we will get our roads and our country back up and running again as normal. Because you lot have not done what you're supposed to do within your police remit. And I know what people are going to be thinking. You want to tackle the police. You want to confront the police. Yeah, I do. I want people to grow a pair of fucking balls, whether up here, down there, or in my case both, and I want people to start taking the police to task over this. Because they should be protecting us from the terrorists, not allowing terrorists to continue disrupting the country. But of course, we've seen now they're clearly too incompetent to do so. As I said, look up the footage. They've seen walking alongside these people. They've seen telling off a driver for honking his horn and pissing off a person who was just throwing an orange. The guy with the orange I'm going to link in the description below, just to prove it's not all bogus bullshit. But the police need to learn a lesson, that they are there under our public funding to do a job for the country, and they're not doing it right now. As such, we have every right to start doing the job that they can't. Just like the politicians. They've decided to pick a side and go with Just Stop Oil. They've decided that they can't be fucked to arrest these people. They've decided they can't be fucked doing their duty and actually removing an illegal protest because they are committing criminal activity. It's much easier for them to pick on one person than it is to take on 20 soy boys and girls who look like they haven't had their milkshakes in the last 24 hours. This is your last chance, police. Either you start doing your jobs, or we're taking over, and we will do it for you. And bear in mind, if the media try to say, oh, they're being too forceful, they're being aggressive, they're using force, just don't use any unnecessary force on them, and we can drag them off the road. It's not assault. It's not ABH, it's not GBH, it's not murder. And bear in mind, if they then try to arrest us, all they'll be doing is fueling the cause. Because then they'll be saying, not only do we protect terrorists and not do our duty, but we are willing to arrest people who actually want to do our job for us. That won't go down well. But of course, I suspect the mainstream media will try to spin it like they normally do. At the end of the day, these people have been protesting and causing death and destruction wherever they go. It may only be, for the moment, in London, for the most part, and one case up in Scotland with the Barclays Bank. But what's stopping them from going countrywide? Nothing. You know why? Because our police won't do jack shit about them. So it's time, people. Men and women of this country, lions of this country. It's time we take out the trash. It's time we remove these soy boys and girls from the roads that they are illegally blocking. Because at the end of the day, the police have taken their side. They've chosen not to do their job. They've chosen to side with people who want to commit terrorism on a domestic level. And as such, they have no right to stop us from doing the job that they were supposed to do, but have decided they can't be bothered. My name's Dabima, also known as Abatha X, and I'm, as always, very, very bad news for our corrupt, crooked police force, the lamestream media, and most importantly, the Just Stop Oil activists and Extinction Rebellion, who will stop at nothing to destroy our country from the inside out. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. And most importantly, fuck the government.